This show is brought to you by DF Studios Limited. Whether you're a business owner or entrepreneur, DF Studios will guide and assist you on the best ways to promote your brand digitally, in addition to creating visitor and customer generating content like blogs, social media posts, videos, and even podcasts like this one you're listening to right now. Visit dfstudiosltd.com or hit up info@dfstudiosltd.com for more info.
And last but not least, let's talk about the 95th Academy Awards, right?
Sure.
So, again, similar to last year, I watched the entirety of this event live on ABC. You caught up with it with clips, right? I assume.
I was mostly following it through your post on Facebook, actually, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for that. So yeah, for those who don't know, I make this a tradition every year. I always just do a post for every win. Like I just do it. Well, not every win, right? Because in this case here, when it comes to just this recap here, I'm not gonna mention documentary shorts. I'm not gonna mention live action shorts. I'm not gonna mention animated shorts because I haven't seen any of those, right? But there is one particular moment with a documentary short that I'll bring up with one of my main criticisms with this event here. But yeah, I do this every year. I also post them up on Twitter as well too, and I like that it gets a response. It's so funny, like after the fact, people just kind of watch like, oh wow, okay, that happened. Okay, wow, right? And they just like looking up my Facebook wall and they're seeing, oh, this thing, because it just keeps going up until it ends, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, right? So just to get this out of the way, right? This is one of the most satisfying Oscar ceremonies I think I've seen in a long while, right? And we are coming from, last year, boy, where the bar was set so low, not just because of the slap, which I'll get into in a bit, but just because of just how poorly planned out that whole event was, where, okay, we're gonna announce some of the winners early between 2 hours before the event starts. But then during the event, we're going to mention them anyway because we have to have the people come in and accept the awards even though they know they win. And it just made no sense. Just stretching out way too long. And then, as I said before, I hated the jokes. I hated how they just stuck this, stress so much on the jokes, right? And then, thanks to a joke, we got one of the most infamous moments in Oscar history. Right. Yeah, the slap, right? From Will Smith to Chris Rock, right? I just love the fact that a week before this event happened, Chris Rock come and address that, right? And I'll just get this out of the way. Right now, it sucks to be Will Smith, boy, because last week Chris Rock just tear him to shreds, tear him and his wife to shreds, boy. And in this case, boy, Jimmy Kimmel, boy, but he didn't rip him to shreds, but he made numerous references in the beginning. I'll talk about Kimmel in a bit, right? About that, boy. And I won't lie, a majority of them land. A majority of them really, really did land, though. I won't lie. But there's one in particular that had me kind of chuckling where he says, if the person who presenting gets hit, the person will automatically win the Best Actor award and they'll do an acceptance speech for 20 minutes, right? Yeah. And I like what he says, if anybody in the audience gets scared, well, do what you do, do what you did last year. Nothing, right? Yeah. I like that. that was actually like really, really, really funny, right? And he's saying, if anybody wants to tangle, wants to start any trouble, well, they'll have to tangle with, and the camera was zooming in on Michelle Yeoh and Steven Spielberg. More or less say that they will fight him now, The bit ended kind of shittily where he say, he'll have to tangle with Guillermo, and they cut to the Guillermo del Toro. But it's like, no, not that Guillermo, this other Guillermo, and it was this other that's
the guy from the show.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. I remember now, and that's the joke. I was like, all right, okay. Yeah. Right. But but just to jump into the show, right? So. It started off very well, right? Like, here's the thing, like I was writing notes because I was expecting this thing to be a glorious failure, right? And I was like, all right, well, it has this opening montage that was pretty cool, usual thing, the best of the movies over the years, right? But then it stopped with, this sort of full MTV Movie Award shit where they do this bit with Top Gun Maverick, right? But instead of Tom Cruise and oh gosh, I'm forgetting the other guy's name right now. They put Jimmy Kimmel instead, and they're having this little dog fighting and blah blah blah. I was like, all right, this is like MTV Movie Awards level kind of thing. I started to get worried. Started to get worried. But then afterwards, when he came on stage and he was Jimmy was throwing out the jokes, he make a really cool point. For example, he mentions where Brendan Fraser and Ki Hui Kwan actually starred in a little film called Encino Man. I was like, all right, yeah, that's a real cool point.
Yeah.
And then
right, so yeah, I see people thinking about your Pauly Shaw reference.
You see, Pauly Shaw need to come back into acting and blah 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 blah. Like, all right, that was clever. That was clever, right? So yeah, I mean, we could say what you want about Jimmy's humor, but I wouldn't lie, the man come through with a real decent opening. Like he come through with a real decent opening, right? And then from that point on, I just stopped writing notes because the man say right off the bat, yo, we keeping this thing tight. No filler or whatnot. We could present all the nominations tonight. You know what I mean? We just making sure that everybody get the time to shine, right? Which I'll get to in a bit, right? So what I'm gonna do, right? I'm just gonna run through in order, the wins and whatnot, right? Again, excluding the short films, right? I haven't seen any of those, right? So not surprisingly, first one, best animated feature, went to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. That was great. I made a joke that it was so funny that the night before the Disney's Pinocchio won worst remake ripoff for whatever it is. I think that's just so funny that one, right? Well, yeah, both Pinocchios won by different categories. And I mean, well, Del Toro came with a really cool speech. Of course, he paid tribute to his parents, of course, who aren't here. They passed away, right? Well, his mom actually passed away before this film actually came out, right? Which was really sad, right? Yeah. Best supporting actor, I was here's the thing, So when it comes to Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? In the back of my mind, I was like, I know this show gonna win a lot of awards, but I still tell myself, all right.
You think with the show, right?
This other person could win it though. Maybe this other person could win it. Because honestly, I was rooting for Brendan Gleeson to win with Banshees of Inisherin.
Right.
Love his performances, right? So I won't lie. I was happy when Ki Hui Kwan won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was real happy. I was overjoyed. And the acceptance speech that he did was great. He was talking about, his immigrant past and whatnot, and, how he almost gave up on his dreams. But it's like, don't do that, stay true to your dreams. Like, that is so inspirational to me. I love that. That was great, right? But here's the problem now. Then you get to your thoughts, right? So then when we get to Best Supporting Actress now, I tell myself, it could be Angela Bassett, because people were rooting for Angela Bassett to win, right?
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I was like, I feel they give it to Jamie Lee Curtis,
Yeah.
And so said, so done. They give it to her, right? And
let's
wrap it up quickly, right? And if you get a chance, if you look back at when the announcement was given, look at Angela Bassett's face, right?
She's kind of mad, yeah.
Like she just had that smile on her face, like I have a feeling I'm not gonna make it to the. And then when she didn't win it, you could see like the smile just went down, just a smidge, boy. You could tell how disappointed she was, right? Now, don't get me wrong, right? I'm glad Jamie Lee Curtis win an Oscar. She in this game for years, since 1978, or probably earlier, right? And I have a feeling similar to Leonardo DiCaprio's win with The Revenant. It's a charity win. It's like, all right, you're acting for years and years and years. All right, let's give you the award, right? So you'll be happy. So I make the joke on Facebook. Just don't do no more Halloween movies, right? Okay, Halloween Ends, which came out last year, was like the end of it for me. I'm done with this. I'm tired. Jamie, you deserve better than doing this Laurie Strode shit. But again, I'm happy that she win it. But a part of me is still like, they just give it to she as charity. But that's just me. But yeah, Ricardo, your thoughts on the supporting actor and actress?
It feels totally like a career win, in my opinion. Because like, to be honest, I would have put Stephanie Sue over Angela as well, right? So it's not like
agreed, because she did more heavy lifting in that.
She was more the supporting actress.
Exactly. Like Jamie was just a character who she was a side character, but Stephanie did a lot of heavy lifting in that movie, Jared.
Yeah.
You know?
So that was how I was just thinking about it, and so it's like whatever. But again, she's also a kind of nepo baby too, and she's she first nomination, so she whatever. Yeah, whatever. Again, to me, it's one of those. It's not as bad as she named Emma Stone back in the days. But
I know you can't forgive.
Right, but she was even second best. Right. She was even second best. Like to me, it was Sue first, then Bassett. But if Bassett would win over Sue, I don't mind. But Jamie, really? All right.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And she character was cool, but like she was like the standout character in the shows. It was clearly Stephanie Sue, right?
Yeah.
But anyway. So up next, documentary feature, Navalny win, as I predicted. And yes, his wife and Alexis Navalny's real life wife and daughter were there. And I like that the wife brought her attention to the fact that yes, Alexei is incarcerated at the time. Well, at the time when the film's released, there, the presentation, whatnot, right? Which is still sad, boy. But I am glad that that film won. As I said in my review, I do hope that more people check it out and made aware of what Alexei was fighting for, man. And just the mere fact that it won Best Documentary Feature, yeah, I mean, I do hope that more people really do support this man's cause, well, because yeah, I mean, right? So yeah. Best cinematography, much to my surprise, went to All Quiet on the Western Front.
Right? Yeah, not
Like,
surprised.
all right, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah, cool.
That movie, the thing with that movie, I put it in my top 10, right? And the reason why it was there is because, yeah, from a production standpoint, I thought it would get through with everything, and it kind of did that.
Like, yeah, it kind of did. Yeah. And it's so funny, right? Because I was making the joke, just making mention in my review of that film that there was a lot of Roger Deakins worship in it, right? Because, especially with 1917, right? And yeah, Roger Deakins got nominated as well too, right? But I would say, to be honest, I really wasn't sure who was going to come out of this as the winner. Like, Tar could have win, but Roger Deakins could have win too for Empire Light. But yeah, All Quiet was the easy win. It was kind of obvious, but I'm glad it won for that, right? I'll talk more about All Quiet in a bit, right? So best makeup and hairstyling, not surprising, it went to the wheel, right? Much deserved, right? Best costume design went to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Ricardo.
Much deserved as well too. Ricardo, won the second Oscar.
Yeah.
And that was great as well too. I think well deserved. I mean, look at Queen Ramonda and Nemo's outfits. Like, wow, like look at these designs.
The big seller that was the the Talocan's designs. Those were, that's why it worked for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Best international feature film, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Again, not surprised
at all, right? Best production design, right? This was another one similar, to cinematography. I wasn't sure who was gonna win, but yeah, All Quiet on the Western Front. It made sense. It could have kind of go to Babylon because I actually watched Babylon and I was like, I was liking the sets, but there wasn't too much of it to really say, oh my god, yeah, the production design is amazing, wow, you know what I mean? But yeah, All Quiet on the Western Front, yeah, nailed it in terms of just that visual aesthetic here. It totally worked, right? Speaking of which, best original score went to All Quiet. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're really thinking about just that theme song, right? Or I'll call it the theme song. And that refrain that you hear, boy, I was like, yeah, it totally deserves it, boy. Yeah, that was chilling AF too. And it just totally fits that bleak tone that movie was, right? That's just uncompromisingly bleak, right?
Yeah.
Best visual effects, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Not surprised.
Not surprised, right?
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going to get to a problem that I had with the overall show itself, right? The overall presentation. Now, understand, right? You're working with time, right? You want to keep things tight, right? So I would say, see that live, I would say about 2 minutes, or you'll get like about 2 minutes of like commercials, and then you'll jump back into the show, right? So yeah, like they were not wasting any time at all, right? But here's the thing, when it came to just the acceptance speeches, I realized like when it came to more than one person, right? Because I think who it was, right? I think Jamie Lee Curtis make the joke and say, okay, I know I only have 45 seconds, right? So I was telling myself, all right, so people who come in to talk, right? Once they start, they have like about a minute to go, and if they go a little over time, so be it, right? But they had a wrap up soon enough, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, similar to like when Dune won last year, I think it's like about 2 or 3 VFX artists show up, right? To accept the award.
Yeah, they got show.
One man come, say thing, as the second man come, music come. Like, jeez, boy, give the VFX artist some love, bro. Like,
one man.
Let me tell you something, man. They worked on a film.
If you don't see a man,
seats, right? Like, give them a blinder.
No. Once you see a man and you don't see his face in front of a camera, or he's not some studio bigwig, you're off. Let him try.
But they work on the VFX, dog.
I don't care about that at all. Bust you through the academy. I want to bust you through.
I feel bad for him, boy. Yeah. I know they did the same thing for this documentary short, right? Let me get a skinny name quickly.
Yeah, all them short people, all them things. They licks. You expect? You know what I'm looking for? They wash out.
Come on, like.
Yeah. If your face not in front of a camera, or you're not known as a celebrity or something, you're something big like director or something, nah, licks. They're awarding our time for you.
Right.
So nobody knows who it is.
So the film I talk about, right? The documentary short is The Elephant Whisperers, right? It's from India, right? Yeah. So yeah, the two directors, these two Indian women show up, right? First woman talk and she's real happy and whatnot. Second person that she about to speak music come. All she just do is just raise she hand with the Oscar.
Yeah, that's it.
Got the applause, and she just kept doing it as she was leaving the stage. Wow, boy, wow.
Yeah, they go bust your truth. It's bust your truth. Israel bust your truth. Israel bust your truth.
Jeez, boy. But anyway, right? So, best original screenplay, not surprising. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I called it. Yeah. And it was cool seeing the Daniels show up though. I really like, because I don't really know them, like on screen, like them themselves. But I like how down to earth they were, talk about, like I think one of the Daniels, the Asian one, or was talking about how he's a little insecure when it comes to his output, right? So like, he's had to get approval from his wife, like, like he's wanna kind of throw in the towel and be like, no, this not working. But his wife was rooting him. It's like, I like that shit. Like that's.
I'll talk about something with them when the best director thing come out, but because it kind of insane that the Daniels get through, right? Like study this, like Tim and Eric winning, right?
I know, boy.
Yeah. This is the same man who do that turn down for what music video, like study that. That was like I was 10 years ago.
The same people who do Swiss Army Man, like.
No, but Swiss Army Man was like you could understand, them going to becoming something now. It's a movie now, but turn down for what? You sure? Like it's really like if Tim and Eric win an Oscar. Just feel like that. And anyway, I'll talk about that. You get into that.
It's like some big music video director this suddenly end up getting an award for best director. It's a huge stretch, right? But original screenplay rightfully deserved, right? Adapted screenplay, much to my surprise, woman talking. So Sarah Purdy with an award. I'm like, cool. Yeah, well deserved. Well, I don't know if did you see woman talking?
I did. Yes.
All right. Well, we thought about it overall. Just quickly.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I get exactly where you said it was on what it was about, and it worked in that conceit. It really remind me of what was in a movie by
I think it's what you're trying to remember.
God on Trial.
Oh right, God on Trial. Yes.
You remember that? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's like, all right, that's how you're supposed to do this in terms of the thing. You put it from the perspective. You don't show nobody else. It's just them talking. It's just their perspectives. If you, I've seen somebody, I forget who it was complaining about, they should have show it. You should have show more and show the history. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about them. It's about testimony. That's the main point. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's just to take a little break here, though, right? So, speaking of women talking, right? I it's just so funny, right? That you had heavy hitters like Tar, right? You had heavy hitters like Banshees and Inisherin. You even had heavy hitters like Elvis and I should say Fablemans, and to the extent Elvis, right? And none of them win anything. Wow. When we're talking one something, I was like, wow, boy, wow. Like honestly, I was not expecting Fablemans to win anything. No disrespect to Spielberg. I know how personal the film is. But Elvis, I mean, well, at least Tom Hanks won a Razzie, right? So that's cool. But other than that though, I was let down, and Banshees didn't win anything, man. But I'll get to that later on, right? But Women Talking actually win something. It's like, all right, cool, great, right? Best sound, not surprising, Top Gun Maverick. If you saw it in theaters, if you watch it home with your sound bar like I did, the sound design in that is awesome, right? And speaking of awesome, boy, best original song went to Natu from RRR.
Yeah.
Round of applause. I was rooting for that all the way. Love that song, right? And now to touch on musical performances, right? So I'm gonna say this right off the bat, right? So, all right, a little context here. So this is actually the first, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because I don't remember if like the Jai Ho song from Slumdog Millionaire was nominated for an Oscar. I don't know if it was, or if it was performed on stage for the Oscars, right? But I think that if I'm not mistaken, this is like the first one of, if not the first, Indian songs, right? Not just to be nominated for an Oscar, right? But to be performed on stage at the Oscars, right?
Right.
And I'll see this right off the bat. Calling this now. The performance for Natu is going to go down as one of the greatest in Oscar history, boy.
Yeah.
It was just that energy, boy, the vibrance in it. It was just, whew, like I can't do that dance to save my life. Like I'm not even gonna get suspenders, sorry, to even do the dance, boy. But just the energy that they put into that performance, boy, my God. I was standing up, I was nodding my head, I was clapping my hands, it tied to the beat and whatnot. And then when the performance done, I was cheering. I loved that performance. So I need to seek it out again on YouTube. That performance is good. Is for the ages, but I loved it, loved it, right? The other performances were cool. Like This Is a Life, which is from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I forget, McGill Stephanie Sue song in that as well too. And it was cool seeing David Byrne from Talking Heads there. Cause that's the whole quirky mannerisms of that show. That whole weird vibe of the show fits his sensibilities anyway, right?
Right.
But yeah, performance wise, it was cool. But I would say for those who have not seen the show, you probably watch it like, all right, what the hell is this? This makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
Applause. That is from Diane Warren, who performed it. That was cool, but I'm not really familiar with the movie Tell It Like a Woman, so I just kind of watched it like, all right, that was fine. Hold My Hand was pretty interesting, right? Because we had Lady Gaga, who surprisingly was didn't have any makeup on, and she just performed it like one of those like MTV unplugged kind of vibe, right? Just had a kind of small, me with the guitarist and whatnot. But it was cool. It was different. It's against I don't say against the norm, but it was different compared to like what you would expect from her, right? Like I can't remember her performance, like what she did for the song from A Star Is Born, right? But like you figure she would just be in some fancy dress singing, but no, she was in some jeans and just rocking it, and it was really cool. It was like really really cool, right? But Lift Me Up was really nice, so I must say,
Yeah.
right? Yes, it's Prego Rihanna performing, right? But it was still nice though. I love the choir that was in the background. Sorry, not the choir. Well, just the backup singers and whatnot, and the musicians. That was cool. But just her front and center and just the emotion that she brought to that performance was great, right? Because yeah, I mean, the song itself is just so poignant, right? But yeah, sorry, Natu Natu deserved that. They had the best performance and best original song in my opinion. So yeah, I love the acceptance speech story that the two guys delivered. You know what I mean? I like that one of them in particular was talking about how they grew up on American songs, well Hollywood songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean just look at that. So yeah, I mean that is just a big moment in just not just Bollywood history, but just Indian history, right? And yeah, I mean this is gonna go down as one of the greatest wins I would see in Oscar history, right? So back to the show. Best film editing. Not surprised. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I called it. I mean, I'll tell you the moment where I knew this was gonna win. Right. It was the moment near the end of the second act, right, where you just saw like just this quick cuts of Michelle Yeoh screaming, and it's just all these different versions of her just screaming, right? And just keeps going nuts non-stop until it just like cuts to white. The moment I saw that shot, I was like, yeah, film editing, win that one time, right? And just the way how I was just able to blend those moments together, of course, right? Of course it's gonna win, right? So now we're gonna get to the four major categories, right? And let's get it out the way here. Why E24 is on top now?
Yeah.
Why nobody fucks with E24? I'm an E24 fan, and right now I am bigging them up. You know what I mean? Like E24 is on top, Trey, because yeah, them men come and claim all four of the major categories here, right? That's best director, actor, actress, and picture, right? So best director, I was concerned, I was really concerned, because like the Daniels could win it, but like the Daniels, right? Like you want to give it to Martin McDonough, who I was rooted for initially, or you want to give it to Todd Fieldway, but it sounded in my head or something, so they're gonna give it to the Daniels, right?
Yeah.
So said, so done. It went to the Daniels, and I was shocked. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised at the same time too, but it was just I was amazed. I was just really amazed, right? Because I can't even remember the last time ever. I think this is like the first time ever, right? Where a directing duo wins best director, right?
Right.
But
yeah, I have no working memory of that, to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just these two nerds, right? Like, I speak it as a nerd too, There's these two nerds who just come in and saying, yo, like, this is just us believing in our vision, just believing in ourselves, who we are and what we like and all that kind of stuff. And just how they were showing, just shouting out and showing the support and love and all that kind of stuff. It was amazing. It was really, really amazing, right? But I know Ricardo can hear that sigh or kind of sigh in there. I know you probably have a kind of issue with, the two of them within this category, but
not really. I like them for what they are. I remember not really liking Sesame Man as much as other people, but I still liked it. But it was just, as I say, it's like if Tim and Eric win an Oscar, it really feels like that. Like there's genuine great talent behind it, and a lot of this feels like all these people who probably still mad at Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind not getting through last time, like back then.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. Because it's one of those films now that just kind of take over the public discourse in that sense, and it's so weird, and the quirky directors, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's that, but there's real talent there. Much like how Tim and Eric themselves, Eric Warheimer and Tim Heidecker, genuinely talented dudes, but because they're so weird and off ball, you can't see them doing anything mainstream. But they have the talent to do it. Like we know they have the talent to do it. That's not even a question. So it's like if Tim and Eric went mainstream, it's that. That's what we get. And I'm really happy for the two of them because it really works. Cool.
And for me though, I see them as just inspiration, but not just because of directing, but because of screenwriting as well too. Like I remember seeing something along the line of that with my end of the year, list of best stuff, right? Yeah, just the mere fact that they just let the imaginations run wild and say, look, this is the film we're gonna make, but we're not just gonna make it all pretentious and highfalutin and indulgent. No, we're going to put a lot of heart into this, right? You're going to care about what you're seeing here, right? Even though, we're going to go ape shit on this, right? And they did that, and look at where they reached, right? But I forgot to mention, too, Triangle of Sadness also didn't win anything, right? But this also went up for Best Director. Did you see it at all?
No, I did not. I did not see that, no.
All right. Well, I do recommend that you see it, right? Because it's really good. Not the best thing in the world, but it's really good, right? But here is where it comes for me now. One of the big surprises of the night, but even bigger than Best Supporting Actress, but Best Actor. I was rooting for Colin Farrell. I tell myself Colin Farrell was gonna win this. Colin Farrell was gonna win this.
Not surprised.
But no, they gave it to Brendan Fraser. The wheel.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
All right.
Because regardless how you feel about, I didn't like the wheel all that much. You heard my review of it. But he was good. Like I can't take that away from. And look, people love a fucking comeback story. So, Brendan, much like McConnell Sons did McConnell Sons a few years back. They had, Brendan. Where does Brendan the Sons?
Brendan the Sons, yeah.
Whatever it is, right? But here's the thing.
No, I wonder if them people who are real happy that Fraser win for the wheel. I wonder if they go watch the final season of Doom Patrol. I wonder.
But no, for me,
I wonder.
Yeah, for me, it is people forget that Fraser could be a great actor in serious roles. Anybody remember Quiet American? Great movie. He was really.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, he was scared. I was with Michael Caine.
Yes.
Right. He was scary, like just a reptile of a person in that movie, and totally work right in the context of the story. Like that's the Brendan Fraser I know. So he was trying from since then to fight up and them kind of thing, and then all the really sad, unfortunate shit happened right after that. Around that time. But yeah, he was pushing since then to do the serious stuff now, and yeah, it worked. So. Congrats. I can't be mad at this. Like, it's a shame it's for a movie that I know a lot of people really don't like the movie and it kind of mean-spirited and it's a movie that don't work and I know it have a lot of fat-phobic thing. I ain't getting all of that. But I just didn't like the movie. I just thought you hear my review. Like, I had about a problem with it. But yeah, I'm not surprised Fraser get through with this. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and just like you, I wasn't a fan of the wheel neither, right?
Right.
But yeah, there's no denying that Brendan put his heart and soul into this one. And you could hear it though with his acceptance speech, because that man was emotional, Judd. Like close to tears. Like tears wasn't running like say Will Smith when he won for King Richard last year, right? But boy, that man was emotional. But I like he was kind of sweating a little bit, like I just noticed that. Yeah. But boy, that man was wow. Like I feel it for him though, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is right is that a lot of people are gonna go into the wheel now really enthusiastic. Like, oh boy, the wheel!
Yeah.
I come out like, but Brendan was the best thing about that movie, right? Because I mean, even though I didn't like the film neither, Brendan was the best thing about that movie, right?
Yeah.
But 824 again, right? 824 for the wheel, right? So look at that, right?
Yeah.
So best actress, boy. Initially, I was rooting for Kate Blanchett for Tar.
Right. But that she was my number one choice, but very close number 2 win, so I'm not surprised.
Was Michelle Yeoh. She was my second pick.
Yeah.
And like leading up to it, I was like, they're gonna give it to Michelle Yeoh, you know. And so done Michelle Yeoh, and I was happy. I get up, I clap. Her acceptance speech was great. I like that, you know, she was talking about, you know, don't count you out past your prime. I like that. That was really great. Yeah, because she's in her 50s right now, and like you really think about it. Think about her career, right? Like which started like 80s, right? Up
long time
onward,
police
right?
story.
Yeah.
You know,
Police Story 3 Super Cup. You should watch that. And also just a little off the cuff here. I see that the Criteria collection for this channel, for this month only running through some of her like, you know, top action films. So she was like in the Heroic Trio and, you know, some other films like from the 90s Hong Kong era, right? But yeah, like she was putting in work from the 90s, right? I mean, I like that she was paying tribute to. She even mentioned she I think it's her mom or her family, in Malaysia and all too. She says she's gonna bring it home, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was great though, and just that is gonna be an inspiration. I like that they say it'll be like how she says, you know, people like her, like, you know, people who look like her mean it, right? And dreams do come true. I love that, right? So yeah, Michelle Yeoh for the win, right? And last but not least, my best picture. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah.
But again, similar to Best Actress, the Best Actor, in the back of my mind, I was rooted for Banshees. Like, I loved it so much, right? But it was kind of obvious at this point, especially with the push and the overwhelming, you know, reception that, you know, that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once got, you know, after it was released and when it was winning tons and tons of awards. Yeah, it was no surprise that it was going to win Best Picture, right? And I was happy, right? And I'll rectify a little mistake that I made when I mentioned with my initial Oscar recap over the nominees for this year, right? Yeah. So I assumed that The Shape of Water was a sci-fi, right? That's from Guillermo del Toro, right?
Right.
But on Wikipedia, right? I know it's Wikipedia, right? But still, right? They have it as a romantic fantasy, right?
And okay. I kind of I see that as sci-fi too. So
yeah, technically, well, I think it's because it's set in the real world, right? Like in the 50s, I think it was, right? It's like Hellboy, where you saw the fantasy elements early on before you saw Abe Sapien, right? So that's why I called it a sci-fi, right? But technically, it is primarily a fantasy, right? It's primarily that. It's weird, right? It's weird, but technically it is a fantasy, right? I do think that there are elements of sci-fi that just
to me, I see realism as sci-fi as well now. That's why I didn't really fight on the argument, but my attitude was, another big sci-fi get through now. Like that's I just with
so go on, sorry.
No, it's just the big hype of what a sci-fi should be as it is now. In that concept, exactly. So I don't have a problem with it one way or the other. It's like you know, genre filming kind of ramping up in a good way now. Because last time, really could say is really Lord of the Rings. Like before that.
Right. Return of the King, which is still the first and only fantasy, if I'm not mistaken, to win Best Picture, right? And it's so funny, right? Because, you know, like years before that, Silence of the Lambs is the first and only horror to win Best Picture as well, right?
Or thriller, or whatever, if you want to say that.
Well, psychological horror. That's technically the term you call it, right? But yeah. But yeah, I still consider Everything Everywhere All at Once to be the first, right? I could be wrong because again, I just going back to Shape of Water, but technically it is the first, right? Because it's pure sci-fi, but it has, you know, the comedy and the drama elements mixed into it, right? But yeah, that is a big deal for sci-fi fans, and I would say right off the bat, as you hear, Ricardo, sci-fi writers, boy. So yeah, you have a chance. You know, you have a chance. Yeah. You saying like, all right, well, okay, well. Right. No, that's a big deal for the genre there, right? But genre aside though, this is well deserved in my opinion. I mean, if Avatar or Top Gun won by a year, people would have been rioting in the streets, right? Even though those were the films that brought butts into seats, right? But anyway, right? Yeah. But yeah, though, acceptance speech for the producer, I think it's Jonathan Wang, was really emotional as well too. And again, it's just it's just art house / mainstream sci-fi comedy drama winning Best Picture, Dre. Like you can't make this shit up, Dre. That is amazing. That is again inspirational, but that shows that somebody, you know, like, you know, this was like, all right, well, it's not an original out there, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I can't see that.
I mean, Daniels come and say, look, we're gonna make something as original as we could make it.
And it's such a great take. Yeah, it's such a great take on the multiverse concept now. Like, it's not, again, for sci-fi nerds, it's not a new concept. We're doing this a while now.
No.
But
Yeah.
it's such a great take on the material. It's not about the multiverse. It's about the story. It's about the, the meaning of it.
Yeah, about the mother and the daughter and all that.
And they carry the conceit so much further. And this is why, as I say, my boy, and listen, it's not a real Papa Bless moment, because who's the one who make the announcement?
Harrison Ford.
Papa Bless, Dread. I was like,
good, man.
I can't be mad at that. Yeah.
Can't be mad at that neither.
Cannot be mad at that.
Yeah. So, this is a huge win by, everywhere. Let's call it for now. EEAAO fans are celebrating right now, and I don't blame them, myself included. But yeah, this is a big win, boy. But not just to genre fans, but also to like E24 fans, boy. People like me who was rocking with them ever since they dropped Spring Breakers back in 2012. Right? That was my guilty pleasure movie of that year, right? And yeah, I just knew there was something with that studio. Just the mere fact that you have a studio that exists and says, all right, we just looking for unconventional stories, directors who just have creativity and just want to tell the stories the way they want to tell them. We don't care if it's about, a lamb with legs or whatnot. We don't care if it's with a woman with hot dog fingers, Dread. The weirder, the better, Dread. And Daniel just say, all right, cool, we coming in with this, Dread. And I mean, the rest is history, Dread. Like the history books are gonna look back at this and be like, wow, but like you think originality is gone in Hollywood? In film. Forget. Like this is testament that it still exists, man. And I'll close this, man, right? This is, again, easily one of the best, I should say one of the most satisfying Oscar ceremonies I've seen in a long while, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to close with this, right? The ending was great. I know probably a lot of people tuned off the moment where Jimmy, just tell everybody, good night, everyone. But there's a moment where he went backstage, right? Also, they have a nice little joke, little Manchies joke, where they brought the donkey, Jenny the donkey, right? I don't know if it's the same donkey. I kind of doubt it, but, whatever. But it's a joke, right? But it was a funny joke, right? Where he went backstage and there's this sign, right? Basically where he's saying, Oscar events, just paraphrasing here, with no incidents, right? And there's this like little, I forget what you call it, these little flip cards where it's like a number, so you see 000, so you just put 1, so it's like 001, right? And yeah, I mean, this is like the first, first Oscar ceremony post the slap, with no incidents. Like everything just went smoothly, right?
Yeah.
Save for those couple of moments where people get more or less had to get chased off stage because, well, one man talk and the next person couldn't see nothing. Boy, right? Whatever, right? But other than that, though, like this was a drastic improvement over the last one. There was no cringe jokes. Even Jimmy Kimmel and all come through with some good jokes. Not great jokes.
Surprisingly good jokes. Yeah, I thought you'd be like complete. Listen, I damn fed up with Jimmy Kimmel, but you come alright this time.
Yeah. He did. The man come through. He do his thing. He didn't overstay his welcome. Thankfully, he didn't overstay his welcome. I would say the one moment that kind of fell flat, but I make a joke out of it though, was when Elizabeth Banks came in to to present for best visual effects. And she had this person dressed like cocaine bear, but it's a fake bear though, but that's a joke. So it posed they do it whatever, right? And she almost tripped on the dress because she had this big dress, whatever, right? But she didn't fall, but you can tell she almost like tripped, right? But she made one line, and I see that was the quoting night where she said the coke is not real, it's visual effects. It's like that's funny. That's genuine funny, like that, right? Yeah. But the other that was like the one cringe moment in it, but it's to promote Cocaine Bear, right? So it is what it is, right? Not saying that Cocaine Bear was trash, but you can check out the review of it later on when you get a chance, right? But yeah, for the most part, I was satisfied with, I would say, all the wins, right? There's a couple that really surprised me, especially the best actress and actor, right?
Yeah,
I still find the best supported actress was like just Charity, like, all right,
so the Jamie Lee Curtis thing was kind of off for me, but I didn't have a problem with because it was everything everywhere all at once. If she did get for some bullshit, I wouldn't care. But like for that, it's like
imagine if she get for Halloween ends, right?
Yeah, God, or some bullshit like that. God, that would be ridiculous. But like as it is, I had no problems with it. It's fine.
Yeah, it was right. So I'm not gonna rate this particular awards because last year I had to because it was just trash, so I gave it a 2. But you know what? If I could rate it, you know what? Just a flat 4 out of 5, man. I really enjoyed this. And thankfully it did it started exact 8, and I think it wrapped up around half 11. So save commercials. It was just this mostly 3-hour run, and again it was just tight, just well put together. No hiccup, little to no hiccups, I should say. Everybody came, did their thing, they cry on stage, thank the family, thank God, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And man, I can't be mad at in and out, right? I can't be mad with any of the winners here, man. But again, everything everywhere all at once takes the top spot here, and E24 take the top spot, because again, they had 2 movies that won the top 4, categories in this year's awards, man. So E24 is on top, boy. If y'all wasn't rocking with E24, at all, that was a good time to start, man. What better way to start than with everything everywhere all at once? I don't know, but everything for sure, right? But Ricardo, just your overall thoughts on just the wins and what you've seen and what you think about the event.
Genuinely satisfying thing. A couple of predictions was a little off. Again, the only really the best supporting actress thing was a little off. I really thought Sue was. I thought Andra was gonna get it. But I thought Sue deserved it the most, to be honest.
Agreed, yeah.
But Jamie was the only outlier. That was it. But again, because it was for what movie it was, I didn't really mind. Overall, again, I didn't watch your awards in its entirety, but from what I understand, it was run reasonably well. No incidents, because again, they won't have fuck around with because of Will Smith and the bullshit. And I don't have a big conceit with the whole thing. Again, everything everywhere all at once is probably one of my favorite movies of last year. It was my favorite movie last year. It's only 2 documentaries beat it.
I remember. But it was my favorite of last year, in case you're wondering. Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed this film. I didn't expect to, and I'm just very happy with everybody involved. And it's like, short wrong come true, man. It was real
boy, I real happy for him, boy. Real happy.
I can't be mad at any of that. So solid Oscars for me. Solid feeling for everything else. You usually go have. Again, as usually, I expecting some backlash and the haters, and they have some shitty Twitter trend somewhere. But whatever, normal thing. Nobody care about that. Moving on. Solid overall Oscars for me. Nothing super to write home about, but again, with the ridiculous low bar again because of Will Smith and the bullshit. Moving on. Does that?
Yeah, moving on, right? And I'll close this way. With how last year played out in terms of just film output, boy. I am really excited of what we could get this year, boy, in terms of Oscar-worthy films, boy. I am really excited, boy. If a studio like E24 could put out a Best Picture winner, Dread, then the sky's the limit right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe in the long run, maybe a superhero film could win Best Picture. That's something to think about. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, boy, the sky's the limit right now, and we had to thank everything everywhere all at once for that, boy. So I mean, if you haven't seen that film, you really should. It lived up to the hype. It totally deserves the wins. We can make the argument about the best supported actress, but definitely it deserves those wins, man. So can't wait to see what we get with the 96 Academy Awards, man. Really, really can't wait. Oh, and last Will Smith joke, right? And I'll say this, right? I slept soundly after watching this, though. Like, I imagine a lot of people did. I imagine a lot of people were just so happy that show won, so they just slept well. It was like they were tormented, or they got nightmares of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Like, oh my God, what if he comes in our home and slaps us? It'll be like it wasn't like that, right? Like it was Will Smith free, and I mean we happy with that, right? So can't wait to see what we get next year, man, for real.